What's up, everybody? Just want to share a few thoughts on my morning drive. Now, tonight is the second debate. It's going to be held on CNN, second Democratic debate. And of course, they split it up again like they did last time. A lot of these names you probably don't even need to remember, like Tim Ryan, Marianne Williamson, even though I do like Marianne. I think when it comes to race, she actually speaks on race very thoughtfully. She probably the most thoughtful when it comes to speaking on issues of race than anybody else on the campaign so far. Although she doesn't have a realistic chance of winning, and I probably wouldn't support her because on all the other issues like foreign policy, education, healthcare, not really sure where she stands, and she got this whole thing where she think love just gonna solve everything, which I don't think is realistic. But as far as race and specifically black issues, I think she's been fairly good. She's the only one that got any type of reparation platform, even though her reparations proposal need a lot of work. It's a decent starting point, and I can rock with that. I can rock with that, because I look at politics a little bit differently. I know that most of the time people don't start off at their final position. It's negotiation. So let's just say, hypothetically, she was president, which, like I said, is not going to happen. And that was the starting point. We can push her to go further, but at least it's something. And to me, that makes her better than most of the other candidates when it comes to this specific issue. Now, the three main candidates that's going to be on stage tonight is going to be Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Pete Buttigieg. Now, for me, Buttigieg is dismissed automatically. How you going to be president when you can't even control what's going on in your hometown? South Bend, Indiana got a bunch of problems that's going on with the police force. And as a black man, that's unacceptable. When he first came in, he fired the black police chief. It was reported that he ignored complaints among black police officers in South Bend that there was racial discrimination going on inside the department, and unarmed black man was just killed a couple months ago there. His response been poor. During the last debate, they asked him a question about this, and he basically said that I didn't get the job done. If you didn't get the job done, why why do you want us to vote for you for president? That doesn't make sense to me. Handle your business as mayor, get your police force under control, and then maybe I'll think about voting for you. But then, no, I probably wouldn't anyway, because his other positions is not believable to me either. Like, he does a good job of talking for a long time without saying anything. That's my impression of Buttigieg. Like, it's hard to know where he stands on any issue because he panders a lot. He can sound good, but when you look back at the question that was asked, most of the time he doesn't even answer the question. So I am not impressed by Buttigieg at all. I would dismiss him automatically. And also, the big donors love him. So big money interests like Buttigieg a lot. That makes me a little suspicious of him because, say, he become president, which I doubt. I don't think he's going to win the nomination either. But let's just say that he does win. If the big money interests want him, let's just say any issue, free college, right? And which I think college should be at least tuition free. If big donor interests don't want that to happen, I don't think it will under Buttigieg because he led the candidates in fundraising last time, and a lot of that was big donations, not grassroots organizations or grassroots donations. So I don't trust Buttigieg at all. I don't like him. I don't know why he even got this far. Because to me, it's nothing really appealing about him. Or I'll backtrack a little bit. He is a decent talker, so I give that to him. But as far as policy, which unfortunately a lot of people don't care about, he's pretty bad in my opinion. Now, between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, I think what the media is trying to do, they're trying to play up like like they might have a confrontation, which I doubt they will. But here's some questions that I want to ask, and unfortunately, I got low expectations because the media rarely asks important questions, questions that I want to hear. So I want to know more about their student loan debt forgiveness program. Now, on the surface, objectively speaking, I think Bernie Sanders' student loan debt forgiveness program or proposal is a lot better than Elizabeth Warren's, even though overall, so far, I actually like Elizabeth Warren better as a candidate. But on this specific issue, I think Bernie's proposal is way better than Elizabeth Warren's proposal. Way better. Elizabeth Warren proposal, if I understand this right, it will forgive up to $50,000 in student loan debt for households making under 100,000 a year. Now, my problem with this is, say you married, like, cause I'm married, right? Me and my wife combined, we make over 100,000 a year, but we got a massive amount of student loan debt because we both went to graduate school. So we're not going to qualify for the program, and we're not rich by no means. I mean, we, I guess we doing decent. I mean, we surviving, we doing okay, but we not rich. So I don't like that proposal. And only $50,000, considering the cost of education have skyrocketed from previous generations. I do like Bernie's proposal of forgiving all student loan debt a lot better. And I think it makes more sense. He laid out how he was going to pay for it. I believe it was a tax on Wall Street. That's how he's going to fund his. Elizabeth Warren funding, I believe, two was a 2 cent tax over for people making over $50 million a year. So that's each dollar after the $50 million. I believe that's how she's going to pay for that program and several other programs that she proposed. So I do want them to get into details of the student loan debt forgiveness program. I actually, I really want them to get into more specific black issues because I can predict that they are going to talk about Trump comments on Baltimore, about how bad West Baltimore is. And, to me, it's just not surprising. We been knew that Trump was a white supremacist. This is why I get mad at the media, too. They treat him sometimes like he's just a regular person and afraid to call him racist. I see more people have done that after the Baltimore comments, but like he told you what he's about. And even before that, he just did a little bit of research. He got a 4 decade history of white supremacy. I mean, it goes back to him and his father in the 70s with housing discrimination. It goes that far back. It goes back to when he owned some casinos where his black employees was talking about discrimination. It goes back to Central Park 5, even after they was proven innocent, him still advocating for them to get the death penalty. It's still not believing that they were innocent. And, he doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on these comments over and over and over again. I mean, I don't know what this guy have to do to show some people that he's racist. And I think they really know. I think they know, but just don't want to say so. So I'm assuming they're gonna focus on that, which I'm. It's cool if they comment on it, and I'm sure everybody gonna condemn those comments. But I want to know specifically what are you going to do to address black issues? That's my thing right there. So um, I think Elizabeth Warren, so far this campaign, even though her specific answer about whether she support reparations or not, as far as other black issues and actually understanding the plight of black people and some of the problems we have and historical problems that this country have put on us, I think she have done very well. She had a proposal in the Senate to address redlining, which I think was pretty decent. Kamala Harris got a similar proposal. I get into those proposals a little bit later in another video, but because I do have some concerns about those specific bills, like, okay, if you're giving grants for people to buy homes in historically redlined neighborhoods, how do we know that it's not going to get gentrified? So, a question like that tonight to Elizabeth Warren, I would like to hear. And Bernie Sanders, like, I support a lot of his programs. Like, I just gave him a massive amount of credit for his student loan forgiveness program. Now, when it comes to talking about black issues specifically, I think he struggled. He struggled with this in 2016, and I would have thought he would be a little bit better this time around. And in my opinion, he came out, started his campaign very poor, especially when addressing the issues of reparations. And a lot of people on the progressive left don't like to hear this because I feel like there's some people on the progressive YouTube space that get offended anytime Bernie Sanders is criticized at all, which, nobody beyond reproach. Everybody can be criticized. And I like a lot of what Bernie Sanders talking about, but when it comes to talking about specific black issues, I don't think he's great. I really don't. I don't think he's bad, but I think he can be a lot better. For example, the first his town hall he had on CNN when he was asked about reparations, right? He mentioned the 10-20-30 program that Clyburn introduced in the House of Representatives. That is nowhere near reparations and is not a specific black policy. The 10-20-30 program, to make it short, I could do a, a longer video on this if people want me to, but basically, in short, is to address historically impoverished areas in the United States, especially areas that have been in poverty for about 30 years, and that include like some black neighborhoods, but a lot of rural areas, which I'm not against. I'm not against the 10-20-30 um, proposal, but it's not reparations. And to me, it's disingenuous to bring that up when you asked about reparations specifically. So that's my problem. And a lot of times, Bernie Sanders, this, it's not just with black issues. He does this with some other issues sometimes. He's great at talking points, sticking to, the millionaires and billionaires. And he's right about what a lot of what he's saying about the millionaires, about the billionaire class, and about how the average American is getting screwed by them. He's absolutely right. However, like sometimes he doesn't answer a specific question that asked to. Again, I'll go back to the reparation question that was asked in CNN. He went all around the block before he stated that no, he wouldn't support cash reparations. And recently he went on to say that I think he went on to say that he would support HR 40, the bill in the House that would commission a reparations study. Elizabeth Warren support that. A few other candidates support that as well. Now, my question to both Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and I say that to those two specifically because, like I said, the other candidates really don't have a realistic chance of getting the nomination. Okay, what if HR 40 say that the best way to address the reparation problem is cash? Would y'all support that? Because Bernie Sanders has been on record saying he don't support cash reparations. So, and like, what type of reparations would you support if you do support HR 40, like you said? Because before you said you're not for reparations. Now, am I one of those people? Because I know some people that in support reparations want only cash reparations or the phrase "cut the check." I'm a little bit more open than them. But it depends on the details. Exactly, if it's not cash reparations, okay, what exactly is it going to be? How long is it going to take to implement? What type of program? Um, is it going to be? Is black people going to get housing grants? Or if you have a house, can you remodel the house to raise the value? Like what type of combination of stuff too? It could be a combination of programs or maybe tax free for a little bit. It could be a number of different things. Those are just things I just throwing out. But my whole point is that it depends on the details if I support non-cash reparations. I just don't want them to give us some bullshit and they call it reparations, and job done. No, 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 no. That's not good enough. And also, I'm going to do a longer video on this in the future as well. I don't want black people to fall into reparations or nothing, though, either. I think reparations is very important, and that should be one of our top issues. But there are other issues out there that also affect us, because I see some people going around, and you would think that reparations is the only issue that matters for us. There's a bunch of different stuff that matters for us. Stuff like environmental issues. And when I say environmental issues, I don't mean like tree huggers. I mean like stuff that happened in Flint, poison lead. Like Trump and his EPA is have lessened standards on a number of different areas. And a lot of times this affects black people first. So there's plenty of issues that affect us, So I don't want to get into that trap. But also with progressives, you shouldn't ignore Bernie Sanders' bad answers or any other candidate bad answers on the issue of reparations just because you support them. And I see that going around too. Um, but anyway, back to this debate. Hopefully they ask meaningful questions, which I doubt. Usually it's all theater. But I want to hear specific policy issues because this is a dangerous time right now. Trump can definitely get reelected if we're not careful. I don't think he can win the popular vote, and I think the electoral college should be abolished, but that's not going to happen by 2020. So it just so happened where Trump voters at is it. I mean, it's good for him with the electoral college. The way his voters are spread out. A lot of people that don't support Trump is on the coast, and for electoral college purposes, that doesn't always work out like it did in the last election. And tomorrow, I'm going to do another video tomorrow and talk about the debate that's happening tomorrow. I'm very concerned. I'm going to get into this later too about Joe Biden. You know, a lot of people support Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden is one of the worst candidates out there. I think he had a lot of the same problems Hillary Clinton had because Hillary lost for two different reasons last time. One reason is, as everybody mentioned, is I should say three reasons because the Comey letter didn't help, but her working class white voters in the Midwest and in places like Pennsylvania not voting for her, and part of the reason was trade. She supported NAFTA, so did Joe Biden. And also, she lost too, which is underreported. A lot of black people didn't come out and vote in 2016, you know. But and why? And that should have been predicted because Hillary Clinton record on black issues was not good. She supported the crime bill. So, and Joe Biden is the architect of this crime bill. You think that's not going to come out? You think that's not going to depress black turnout? I know there's some older black people that vote no matter what, but a lot of younger black people is not going to be feeling it. I'm not feeling that at all. And I know Bernie Sanders voted for the crime bill too, and he deserves criticism as well for that. However, he wasn't in support of like the three strikes and some of the worst parts of the crime bill. He voted for it because the Violence Against Women Act was part of the bill. Now, I would say this to him, like, okay, I understand the Violence Against um, Women Act, but you knew the other parts of the bill was horrible, and you kind of predicted where it would lead to, but you still voted for it. And I know he probably did that because, if he voted against that, it would have been used against him in the campaign ad, and he might not have got reelected. But I give him a little bit more slack than Joe Biden because he wasn't in support of the worst parts of the bill. He actually voted against similar legislation in '91, and Biden was the architect of that bill too. So he's not as bad as Joe Biden when it comes to that issue. But yeah, I think Biden could depress turnout in 2020. I really do. And so many people just vote because of name recognition. Hopefully, when the votes start to come around, that people wisen up and not vote for Biden because I think he would be a disaster. And even if he does beat Trump, because I think he can beat Trump, I don't think it's guaranteed. I think it's going to be a tough election, whoever get the nomination, because I think people underestimate some of Trump strengths. I really do. I don't think it's going to be an easy election, no matter who get the nomination. But I think best chance to beat Trump is to get high turnout. I do think some other candidates would generate more of a turnout. I think Kamala Harris can generate more of a turnout, even though she got a host of problems too that I'm not going to get into now. Probably get into a little bit more tomorrow. Um, I think Bernie, with his support among young voters, can increase turnout. I think even Elizabeth Warren can increase turnout because she's very good on policy, although she got some other problems too that is going to hunt her. But Biden is just a disaster, and hopefully we'll wisen up and not vote for him. And like I said, even if he does get elected, people think these Trump supporters are just going to go away. No, they not. I think a lot of people want things to get back to normal. And there's no normal because normal before was not good. That's how you got somebody like Trump in the first place. So you get somebody like Biden elected who's not going to bring no significant change at all. He's running on basically getting things back to normal, and I was Barack Obama vice president. Okay, you was the vice president under Obama. All right, cool. But what you going to do to actually improve people's lives, like significantly? Because what happened before is people got impatient. A lot of people were suffering even before Trump became president. So I don't know. I think he's one of the worst candidates, and I think if he get elected, um, Trump Trump voters won't go nowhere. And I think you can get a worse Trump next time with somebody like Biden. Would I vote for him over Trump? Yes, I would. But you know, uh, I don't like where that will get us. So hopefully that don't come about. But all right, man. Like I'll be back with y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna start doing this almost every day with car rides. Might as well. A lot of excuses why I wasn't making videos. So gotta get back on it. So figured now we got the technology you can do this with your phone and your car. Start doing this. So I'll be back with y'all tomorrow with a recap of the debate tomorrow and a preview of tomorrow's night debate. Peace.